Many people have talked for years that fall is the best time to control weeds out in pasture, but Darren, I'm going to disagree with that. In the northern part of the country, I would say late summer, because if you look at fall starts September 21, sometimes we get a frost by September 21, and that's the key factor. We want to make sure you're out spraying at least a couple weeks before you have your first big frost.
All right, Brad. Kids are back in school in many areas across the country. It's fall. It's no longer summer, and I don't care what the calendar says. And I think you're kind of splitting hairs here. But yes, as soon as you get to the end of the growing season, that's a great time to kill weeds.
Well, yeah, and it all depends on where you're at in the country. So if you're down south and you've got a lot of heat left to go this fall, then maybe you do want to go spray in the fall. But all I know is in the northern part of the country, it's already starting to get cold at night, and I'm starting to think right away, ooh, I better make sure I get out and get my pasture sprayed. So one of the things I look at personally is, hey, we usually start soybean harvest the 20th or 25th of September. Once we get to that point, am I really going to spray after that? No, I'm too busy with harvest. So this is a job that you should do 2 to 3 weeks before you're going to start harvest in our area. That's great timing for killing the weeds out there.
All right, so when we think about it, what choices do you have for controlling weeds in the fall? And you've got all the choices available to you that you would normally use in pasture. However, I'm going to say this. Could you use just a straight 2,4-D and just fry off what's out there right now? You could. It's kind of a revenge kill for annual weeds. What I'm looking at is, let's go after those biennials. Let's go after the perennial weeds, and you need something more than 2,4-D to do the best job.
I mean, yeah, to do the best job, but at least with 2,4-D, you can burn down the top growth, you can hurt the root a little bit.
Well, it makes you feel better, Brian.
Well, but let's not forget, we've got winter kill. We got winter kill coming up. So if you damage the plant, and this is the reason why people have talked for years, hey, let's kill our weeds in the fall. Then if we don't completely kill them, the winter finishes them off.
Okay, maybe, but maybe we get a mild winter like last year, and it really doesn't.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying LV6 is the best thing to do in the fall. I'm just simply saying, hey, do anything in the fall, and you're a lot better off because the winter's coming.
Okay, well, here's the good thing. This is what the late summer or fall gives you an opportunity for. These plants that are biennials, these plants that are perennials, they're bringing nutrients down into their root system to store up so they can survive the winter and thrive in next spring. Well, if you can get that time period where the plants are bringing things down into the roots, here's a great opportunity to take something like Milestone or something like Tordon, put it on the plant and let it bring that down into that extensive root system, and you can wipe that plant out for good. There's so many guys that have tried, well, I've always sprayed in the spring, but I didn't get it done this year. Now I'm going to spray in the fall. That's the last time they ever think about, well, I just have to do all my spraying in the spring, because those fall treatments work so good that many times in the spring you're like, where are the weeds? My pasture looks awesome. This is great. I love fall treatments. And you think about it, when do you have the most time to do things? In the fall, before harvest, you've got a period of time that you're really not doing anything out in the field anyway. You may be getting equipment ready, but you're not out in the field doing other things. In the spring, as soon as it warms up in the northern part of the U.S., we're going. We're doing tillage, we're putting on fertilizer, we're planting, all those things. So you have a lot more time to do things in the fall.
And I think about this for all non-crop areas, whether it's pasture, ditches, fence lines, everywhere. Now is a great time to spray. Milestone's the very best thing. If you want the best possible thing on all thistle species, your product's Milestone. If you want the best possible thing on leafy spurge and a lot of woody species, it's Tordon. There's also Chaparral out there that's really good for woody species. So, I mean, those are the products we'd rather have you use. If you want to keep using 2,4-D or dicamba, you certainly can do that, but then you're treating every year at least once or twice a year. So just invest the money, at least in the patches, at least where you've got the worst stuff, and then you really thin things out, and all of a sudden you're going to have a great pasture or ditch or fence line for a long time.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense. Some of the treatments that may cost a little bit more money, if you're just looking at, hey, I've got 160 acres of pasture and I've got 2 acres of patches of really bad perennial weeds, Wow, if you're going to spend even $20 an acre on those patches, divide that out over your full 160 and you're not spending hardly any money at all per acre.
Right.
So definitely control weeds in the patches first before they spread across your whole acreage.
Well, once again, fall is a great time to control weeds in your pastures and any non-crop areas, but we would just encourage you, do it a couple weeks before your first big frost. When you do it early enough, then you've got the opportunity for all those great products to get down into the root systems rather than having the plant affected by the frost first.
And speaking of weeds that you have to get under control in the fall, our Weed of the Week is certainly one of them. We'll show you how to stop this tough weed later in the show.